Hey NTA Nation, this is Ben. I'm back in this week from the cigar review, and this week I'm doing a new Gloria Cubana Artesanos Retro Especiale. And look at the band, which I think is actually a really gorgeous band. And the retro, I guess you can see where the retroness comes from. The nice throwback to like the early turn of the century bands. I think it's really classy looking without being too gaudy or too plain. It's pretty cool. Anyway, General Cigar said that it was an 8-year process developing the cigar, to which was developing the special wrapper for the cigar, which was a cross-bred a Connecticut seed tobacco grown in Honduras. And let me read a little bit about it from the press release that they actually sent out for this cigar. Read a little bit about it because the verbiage is a lot better than what I was going to come up with anyway. It says, Team La Gloria set out to break the mold with a blend by crossbreeding a Connecticut seed, which was then cultivated in Honduras. The mating crop yielded a hardy golden wrapper as noteworthy for its color as it is for allowing each of the cigar components to hold equal bearing on the overall taste of the cigar. Despite the golden appearance of the wrapper, the blend is brash and full flavor and engages the entire palate. The double binder of bold Nicaraguan and Mexican leaf is further enhanced not only by Nicaraguan and Dominican ligero, but also through an additional peppering of proprietary Nicaraguan and Dominican leaf. So, pretty cool write-up about the complex nature that went into kind of making this cigar. But nevertheless, these cigars came in about 3 days before, as most of y'all know, they sent a lot of us cigar bloggers down to the Dominican Republic to the General Cigar Factory to kind of give us an overview on how they do things. And one of the cigars I was really looking forward to trying when I got down there was this cigar. And because as soon as I got these from the mailman, he literally handed them to me while I was in my man cave, and the package, and I opened it up, and I love the way the cigar looks. And this happens to be the club that I'm reviewing, by the way, which is 5 3/4 by 47 ring gauge, but which, as you know, it's very close to my favorite size at Corona Gorda. So immediately, said, you know what, I want to try this thing out, because around here the temperature, especially during the day, is around 70 degrees, and the humidity is pretty much the same as it would be in your humidor at the time. So I figured it ought to be okay. So I went in and smoked it up. I thought it was really pretty damn good. So anyway, when we went down to the Dominican Republic, this is what I really wanted to try. We'll get into the big meeting room when they first brought us in, had cigars laying around for us to try the different Dominican General cigars, the General cigars that they had there. But this wasn't there. Luckily, Michael Giannini, who has the coolest slipper shoes that you've ever seen, always on, I put him to the side and said, hey, Michael, where the hell is the retro? He says, oh, it's none here? Hold on a minute. He went back, got us some, and brought us back in. And this is probably one of the most smoked cigars we had done that trip between all the bloggers. So, anyway, let's get into this cigar right here. This cigar, the MSRP on it is about $7. And if you look at this wrapper, or talking about the golden wrapper, you can really see it. I mean, it looks, you know what it kind of reminds me of, like the Macanudo Cafe wrappers, which General Cigar is so proud of. So I'm kind of wondering if that's what they were going for when they were, cultivating the leaf. They said they cross-bred it. So I don't know, kind of curious. Anyway, let's look at the foot of it. Nice bunching, which they use the Intabar method down there. If you've seen some of the videos that I took while I was down there, how they showed us how to blend and roll and bunch and put a wrapper on it and stuff, you'll see that the way they do the Intabar method, which is where you get like the fiddle leaves, you get them and you basically roll them into little straws, and then you kind of bunch them together and put the binder on them. It's the old Cuban way, and it actually makes the cigar smoke a lot better and more evenly, because the airflow usually is more even coming through all this little bitty teeny, tobacco straws. But anyway, nonetheless, let's look at this cap too. Go at that. Really nicely applied. And this actually comes in and a Taino, which is usually Churchill size, or 7 by 52. The Habanero, which is 6 by 52. Cubano, 6 1/4 by 58, and the Club, which is this one, 5 3/4 by 47 ring gauge. And they retail on average around, about $7.50. The most expensive one being the Habanero, or no, sorry, the Cubano at $8.15. So it's really not a bad price for Artesano. And these, they have a new Artesano release come out pretty much every year with like Gloria Cubana, and to me they're like another level in the La Gloria line. Like my favorite La Gloria, probably the Serie R line, but every Artesano has come out, I've really enjoyed that. So, I'm kind of looking forward when they send me these. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Anyway, enough blabbering, for Christ's sake. That probably is the longest intro I've ever done. So go ahead and clip the cap on this. This actually has a kind of a loose straw. It's not too bad, but I hope it just don't get too hot on me. But it has a really rich, nutty, woody flavor, like a nutty, cedary flavor to it on the draw. It pretty much it has just a light cedar note throughout the rest of the cigar when you smell it. Let's go ahead and light this thing up. Using my new high altitude Zycar lighter. I think I'm going to review this coming up pretty soon. It's a very unique lighter, but I got this to take out to the islands with me on the boat, so we'll see how it does. So I might actually wait till the summertime to actually do this review, see how it holds up on the boat. Nevertheless, while we're down at General Cigars, they after that day, Michael made sure that we had plenty of these to smoke while we're down there. So thanks again, Michael. I really appreciate your hospitality down there, especially for getting us these cigars. Pretty dense smoke. And right off the bat, you get a pretty good pepper kick from that Nicaraguan tobacco, and it kind of just creeps all the way up your palate as you smoke it. But you also get this nice, rich, woody core to it, and a nuttiness about it that's got a hint of sweetness that kind of rounds the whole thing out. It's pretty good so far. I'm really digging it. Like I said, this is one that we smoked. I know alone I probably smoked a box of these in the few days I was down there, literally, and this size too. So anyway, as long as that intro was, I'm going to just do this to the halfway point, come back, give you my impressions, and we'll see how it goes. See you in a second. Everybody, I'm back. I'm a little bit past the halfway point. The cigar has a really nice, it has a really room-filling smoke, as you can see when you're pulling the cigar. But I get that woodiness is still there, but the amount of the core of it's like a buttery nuttiness to it with a nice sweetness that kind of complements that really well. The woodiness is still there, but it's more like in the background, kind of like an underlying note that kind of fades from the very beginning, but you still pick it up, but it's taking a back seat to the rest of the stuff. The spice, you don't get it on your palate very much until you retrohale it, and then you get like a blast of that nice sweet spice that you get Only when you retrohale it. That's the only time I'm getting it. You get that a little hint of spice if you don't, but you really get it when you retrohale. So if you like spice, this is one you definitely need to retrohale. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this cigar off, and I'm back to give you my final impressions in a second. See you soon. Hey everybody, I'm back, and I'm at the very end of the cigar now. Not much has really changed, except the sweetness has died down a little bit, but other than that, it's still pretty much the same. There's a lot of smoke coming off this thing. It's burned really nice. I've only had one relight for the entire length of the cigar, and I've been smoking this cigar for probably about an hour. So it's doesn't take very long to smoke it. So it's been fairly straightforward actually. So get that buttery nuttiness to it, that background of wood, and a hint of sweetness in the tail end of it. The spices still come through pretty strong in the retrohale, but have pretty much faded completely on the rest of the palate at the end of it. So, nonetheless, I think it's a really solid effort from La Gloria Cubana on this year's Artesanos collection. I haven't been disappointed in any of the Artesanos La Gloria Cubana cigars so far. And I think actually this might be the best of the line for me. I think it's a really stellar smoke. If you're a big fan of the cigar, don't expect that type of a cigar with this one. This is a much milder cigar. It's medium bodied, but compared to the cigar, it's much milder. It's definitely more in line with basically some of the other general offerings, that's more kind of medium bodied. But I think it's still a very solid effort. It's not your typical La Gloria Cubana, but I still really enjoy the cigar. I really, really love this stick. Like I said, we had several of these down at the bloggers get together, blogger trip down at General Cigar, and this is by far what I smoked the most while I was down there. I mean, every time I was there, I'd smoke one, put one in my pocket for later. Every time I picked one of them up. It's just, to me, it's a great stick for morning, midday, or even late at night. It's just a good solid effort. It's definitely one you got to check out, especially for only about $7, $7.50 a stick. Definitely it's well worth that. So give this one a try and check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. So on that note, remember, nothing beats a nice tight ash.